Hey, it's Pete here with the Small Business Resource Center, making this little video to explain what I do to make videos. Of course, a bunch of people have asked how do I make videos and throw graphics, edit sounds, and stuff like that. And of course, it could be pretty cumbersome. And I know I actually made a whole video series on how to succeed in YouTube and what I did to get the 5,000 or so followers I had, because of course I started with zero. In about 6 months, I had about 5,000. Since then, I've held back, but let's not get into that right now and why I stopped making YouTube videos all the time. But let's get into this. Well, after a bunch of time, what I found that I like is actually Wondershare Filmora, really, really nice software. I've used a couple different types of Adobe Photoshop. I used Elements, couple other different editing software, as well as manufacturer's software that I used with the current setup that I have. But no matter how you're recording it, Wondershare seems to be able to import from various sources, as long as it's saved on your computer, of course. And if you notice, this video was originally 2 hours and almost 40 minutes. And the main reason you can see me looking down, I have a full script. The script for this 39-minute video, I think, was about 12 pages. But I did increase the font size because, of course, I'm looking at it. A lot of the things I understand, so I don't have to read it word for word. But what I do is I look down real quick, and then I take notes if I screw up or do something right. That's why I have the pen. And then I keep going over. If I mess a part up, I actually stop for a second and then speak. And then if you notice in my editing, if you go close, you can see breaks, and the more you zoom in, if there's a big silence for a couple seconds, very often that's a part that needs to be edited. And when I do my editing to make it easier on the first draft, the very first draft, I actually go backwards. So I know my last part is good, and then I know the next part after that is usually good, and then it'll start to repeat. And then when I get to the repeat part, that's because I did something wrong. Then I delete those big chunks out. So, like, let's just say I'm right here, I'm talking about the end of my book and my offer, and then, of course, there'll be a pause. That's only a couple seconds. Everything after that can be deleted. I just have to find the next spot. So that makes it quick for me to record everything in one session, then delete the parts that are bad. The one thing I don't do well, I would have to say, when I'm doing this is sometimes I'm looking down too much because I tend to do things quickly. If I had a second person, that would probably help because they'd be like, okay, get ready, look at the camera, smile, talk. But for me, I just looked down, and after a couple seconds, I said, okay, that's where I screwed up. And then I make a little note, then I look up and I start talking again. So sometimes in my videos, you'll see me looking down, even though if this was done by somebody who more professional or a couple people, that wouldn't be in the clip. But I can't edit all those out because you'd notice probably a bigger difference if you ask me. The other thing Wondershare allows you to do, if you notice how I did all these, I actually create most of these with Adobe Photoshop. So each one's a slide. I make the first one, save it as an image, make the second one, save it as an image, make the third one, and then all these get looped in here. So you can see how it makes it easy for me to change and add any graphics, easy to splice. The other good thing about Filmora too is it allows you to stack these. So you basically create more, and I can put multiple images on top of each other. If it needs to go behind it, it can. You can see I put more audio down here, things I had to adjust. Once you get better at this, you'll realize how easy it is. Here, like, there's a section when I was recording this, but if you would see the original, the main reason I did this is because the board where it is, it didn't create the exact thing that I wanted. I wanted the board to be bigger, but I still wanted my book to be on the side, so you can see it in the background. Maybe I should have brought the board closer, but I was like, to redo this whole thing, I really didn't want to do that. And I said, I'm just going to put a board there, make sure it's clear and easy writing. And obviously that takes a little bit of a different skill. but this was exactly what I wanted. I wanted my book on the side so people can see it while I'm teaching the lesson. And I think if I brought the board closer, it would still have been a challenge unless I was very, very close to the camera. And I didn't want it to be awkward, so that's why I edited this. But overall, the editing you want to do is fine. You can change the audio levels. You can adjust almost anything you want with this software. You can actually create titles. So sometimes I have used this, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times I find it easier to create graphics on Canva, canva.com, and then save them. And that would be a free resource that you can use, or Photoshop if you have it to create graphics there, and then upload everything. So you can see um, every little line here, that's a splice where I splice something out. I had 6 or 7 versions of this till this was done, but I'm showing you this version so you can see. And when I do a very long video, the reason why I have 6 or 7 versions is after I edit like 5 or so minutes, I actually save it and make a new version. The main reason, and this is maybe a downfall of the software, sometimes I don't like how the software edits because I notice there's problems. Um, for some reason it seems like if I added something right here, let's just say, and if I put it here, if I don't put it on top, it will shift things over sometimes, and then that'll put everything else out of sync. Um, that's actually a bad example because really I would have to say I might have did it right here. Like let's just say if I added a graphic right here, sometimes this thing will shift everything over. Even though I don't want it to move, that's what it does. So you should put it up top when you do that. But besides that, Filmora is great. Um, and like I said, the main reason I make a lot of different versions is because of the shifting. If this is exactly how I want it, I believe it is anyways, I save it and I watch it. And if this is okay, I don't do anything. I don't have to touch this version. And then I can just keep editing. But if it isn't okay, I can quickly change this and then re-upload it. Like my version 1, if you'll notice the audio track, this is low compared to this. You can clearly see this. But when I'm edit, I use headphones, so it doesn't seem that bad. But when I tried it without headphones, I noticed a bigger difference between this, and that's a big difference when you're editing. When you listen to on headphones, it's clear and easier to hear. When you use this laptop, then it was more noticeable that there was a pitch difference. So then I increased the pitch on a next version. Are they perfect? No, but can you do a great job editing? Yes. And this is what I do. I find it very simple. Record one straight through. So you might have, like I did, almost 2 hours and 40 minutes with a video, edit starting backwards, take out the big chunks and everything you don't need. Now you have a 33-minute video or whatever. And then from there, I added some things that I thought which I was planning on doing ahead of time. But, I added in other things. So I think the final video is 39 minutes, but the reason it's 39 minutes is because I actually added things like how to do the apartment evaluator. So some of these things I was already planning on doing, but for this first version, like I said, start backwards, take out things you don't want or like, adjust pitches, add in the graphics you think will spice it up, and then boom, you'll see the finished version. All right, thank you.